Hey everybody, it's a hospitality friend, Glenn here, and yes, I'm still at the lodging conference, and no event would be complete without me speaking to Sloan Dean, CEO of Remington. But first, I want to thank our friends over at Unifocus. Streamline your hotel operations with Unifocus. Check them out at unifocus.com. Sloan, how are you feeling about the overall environment over here? Because I feel like hoteliers love to say that they're pessimistic, but they're optimistic behind the scenes and still getting stuff done.
Yeah, I think, this is my favorite conference of the year. It's nice to come out to the desert and realize it's still over 100 degrees when we're into October. But I think the overall optimism is, I'd classify it as a reserve. 2024, I think everyone wished we had a little more RevPAR growth in the U.S. Interest rates are coming down, which I think is going to help most buyers, most owners. Also help with deal flows to go into 25. And then, I think we're more optimistic for the future than we are for this year. I mean, RevPAR is projected to grow a little bit more next year. I do think the big bright side is that what we're seeing on the operations side is expenses, particularly the cost of labor, is cooling off.
Right.
So wage inflation is now starting to come in line with overall inflation, and I think that when labor is your biggest variable expense, that's a huge help on the profit side.
That's really interesting, because I would have thought it would have still kept ratcheting it up because we have historically low unemployment numbers, and typically that means you've got to pay more. So what do you think of the circumstances that is leveling out in hospitality where it might not be in other sectors?
Well, I think what you're starting to see is that you've got, a lot. Yes, unemployment is at all-time highs, but it is at 4.2, 4.3. It's starting to uptick. You also are seeing the amount of open jobs decrease. So, I don't think we have to get to, say, 5 or 6% unemployment before you see wage growth go under 4%, because we're already there. Our wage growth is at about 3.5%. Inflation is in the 2s. So it's still greater than inflation, but we're seeing it every quarter come down by about 0.5 point. And I think that's what we're going to witness. And part of the factor is, too, I mean, frankly, there is a lot more jobs in other industries that have been either pulled back or other industries are not doing as well. Look at tech, for example. They're doing a bunch of layoffs.
Oh, for sure. And anecdotally speaking, when you're talking about entry-level positions, during COVID, a lot of people fled to a big internet website that does home deliveries.
Yeah, that's right, Amazon.
But I feel like a lot of those people were not happy with that particular...
Or they're being automated.
Right.
Yeah. You have automation in other industries. One of the things, we talk about AI a lot. There is not AI adoption in the hospitality industry so much that it is job eliminating yet.
And I hope not eliminate. I hope that it won't eliminate jobs as much as it makes people better at their jobs so they could focus on creating better
increasing productivity.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That way, you won't eliminate jobs, but you just may not have to hire as many people.
That's exactly right.
Forward.
That's what I talk about. When we're still not quite back on an occupancy level as an industry, but when we get there, I think most hotels will operate with about 10% less staff.
Right.
Because we have better technology, AI, increased productivity. We've done a better job of training folks. And that's what we're seeing in our hotels, is that while we're growing, Remington as an enterprise is growing, we have more associates than ever, but at an individual unit level, we have about 10% less associates.
I was going to say, you're saying you're going to cut back 10%, but didn't the market already create that environment where now you need to utilize technology to catch up with the reality of the workforce today?
Yeah, if you look at compounded annual growth rate from 19 today, your average hourly worker is making 40 to 45% more than they were in 2019. And the only way you overcome that is by, frankly, doing more with less.
Yep.
And there are certain departments that you can't do that. You can't automate a housekeeper, but there are smart things that you can do to be tighter with your labor, to be tighter with productivity, to drive, better margins for the owner. Because, wage, while it is cooling off, I mean, almost up 50 cents on the dollar at an hourly level. I mean, those are big dollars.
Right, that's big dollars. And not to say that those people don't deserve every single penny, but no matter how you look at it, it still stresses the bottom line.
Absolutely.
It's funny that we're having this conversation with, Unifocus on these videos, because
I'm not a paid
No,
speaker.
it's not. It's just a coincidence. All right, before we wrap up today, what are you most excited about going forward and into 2025?
I think what I'm most excited about is that we're seeing foreign inbound travelers come back.
Excellent.
You know, so you talk about the demand pattern that we've seen. We've seen a full recovery of domestic leisure. And people say, well, domestic leisure has pulled back since 2022. No, it hasn't. We're just exporting.
Right, I was about to say
The U.S.
Europe.
Yeah, the
Everyone's
U.S.
in Portugal and Greece last time.
The U.S. consumer will spend more in travel this year than they ever have historically ever. We're just an exporter. And the offset of that is when foreign inbound comes back. And we are now down as a country, down less than 10%, the 2019 levels of foreign inbound.
Wow.
And I think what you're going to see as the dollar has strengthened so much to foreign currencies. And I think a lot of that is leveling off, that we're starting to see Europeans, we're starting to see the Chinese traveler come back. And in certain markets like San Francisco, Hawaii, New York, they desperately need that. And I think that's going to be the storyline that we're going to hear in 2025 is foreign inbound is back and business transient is back. Those are the two segments that have not fully recovered, and we're seeing that recovery happen.
That's really great that you're seeing that out there. And one anecdotal story that I have from my friends out in Hawaii, they're like Japanese business, which used to be a huge chunk of Hawaii.
Oh, absolutely.
Hasn't come back because their yen is so weak compared to the dollar. It costs them so much to be able to come over. But when you do get a foreign traveler over here from Europe or Asia or wherever, they stay longer, they spend more, and they're great guests to have in your hotel.
Oh, absolutely. The discretionary spend of the foreign traveler is in some cases double the domestic traveler.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to a great rest of this year and great next year, and we'll see you at our annual conference.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
All right,
It's Sloan Dean. I'm Glenn Hausman. Make sure you like this video, and why not subscribe to the newsletter? Stick out that phone, text the word hotel to 66866. That's hotel to 66866. Don't forget these guys at Unifocus. See you later. Bye.